play tapes looking at songs recorded by Mississippi John Hurt. In this tape we're going to look at a song that wasn't written by Mississippi John. It's a traditional hymn called Nearer My God to Thee, and it's a very beautiful piece and a very satisfying piece to be able to play. Now this is quite a long piece. In fact, I had to write 32 bars of tab for Nearer My God to Thee, and given the limits on how much I can upload at a time to YouTube, which is only 10 minutes, I've had to split this lesson into 3 separate parts. So there'll be 2 more parts to follow this one. In the first lesson we'll be looking at the chords, looking at the bass patterns and so on, and then we'll be going just as far as the first 4 bars of the piece, which may not sound very far, but it may be better to get the 4 bars and get there properly than to have the whole piece, rushed with not being able to learn quite so much. So I hope you'll bear with me, and it'll be worth waiting for the other 2 parts to emerge. The guitar's in standard tuning, but I'm tuned down by 1 semitone. So if you place a capo at the 1st fret and then tune up to concert pitch and then take the capo off, you'll be tuned down by 1 semitone. If you want some tab for this piece, I've written a little booklet which I've got here called Yes, You Can Play Like Mississippi John Hurt, and this covers 4 or 5 Mississippi John Hurt songs, and inside you'll find a complete tab with detailed instructions for each of these pieces, and here's the one for Nearer My God to Thee, and just goes over the page here. And if you're interested in getting hold of this, then you can get this via my website, which is www.thumbpicker1812.co.uk. So I hope you'll find that useful. The piece is played in the key of D. Now I'm going to start out as before by just introducing the chords that we'll need for this piece, and then we'll have a look at the bass parts, and then I'll take you through phrase by phrase. Now in fact, fortunately of course, some of the phrases are repeated, so things are a little bit easier than they may look at first, and tab anyway has a habit, I think, of sometimes making pieces look much more difficult than they really are. So we'll see how we get on, and well, I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we need really just 4 main chords for this piece, or 4 main chord shapes, should I say, for this piece. And these are D, a modified version of G, here's the normal G, but for this G chord we take this finger off the 1st string at the 3rd fret and move it over to the 2nd string of the 3rd fret, which comes out like this. So that's the G modified chord, and then we need an A chord, which then later in the piece we use a modified D chord, which is just played on the 1st and 2nd strings of the 5th fret of the 1st string and the 7th fret of the 2nd string. They're the chords for the piece. Now the bass line, it's an alternating bass throughout the piece, and essentially when we're playing in the G shape, or the G modified shape, we're always playing 6/4. And when we're playing the D shape, it's always 5/4. Similarly with the A shape, 5/4, and with the D modified shape up here, still 5/4. So that sounds fairly simple anyway. There are no major complications in the bass part. It's an alternating bass throughout, 6/4 with the G shape, and basically 5/4 for everything else. Great. Well, now we can go through then phrase by phrase, bar by bar, and these phrases usually fall into 2 bars or cover 2 bars each time. So we're going to start off with the first phrase, which covers the first 2 bars, and for these 2 bars we hold the D chord shape. Okay, first 2 bars then, the bass pattern, we're holding a D shape, and the bass pattern for the first two bars is very simple, just treble, we're holding on this D shape, and the only string that we're really having to play with is this top 6 string, and here this finger, the second finger, just hammers on. We've just got 3 hammers on, and then we leave that string open. So the treble part goes again. So you see the last 2 notes, the last 2 treble notes, we play with the hand off the fretboard altogether. Those 2 strings are open, and this gives us plenty of time to move to the next chord shape, which is going to be the G mod shape that we'll come to in a moment. So if we put these 2 together very slowly, here's the first 2 bars. And here's what I'm doing with the right hand. Get to see that, which is a little difficult, but here we go. So that takes us into the second phrase, bars 3 and 4, where we switch to the G mod shape. So that's just like the G, but with this finger moved from the first string at the 3rd fret to the 2nd string at the 3rd fret. And for these 2 bars, as I said, in the G, the bass switches to the 6/4 pattern, so it's that. And the treble, it's really all on this 2nd string this time, the 2nd string where this finger is, up at the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and it's held on and then just taken off, so it's and if we put that together, it comes out something like this. So let's try those first 4 bars slowly. Well, that's all we've got time for at the moment, so I hope this has been useful, and I also hope that you'll join me again soon for part 2 and part 3 of how to play Nearer My God to Thee. In the meantime, good luck.